name is Lindsay Stead and my role is Business Development Manager at Astra Street Furniture, having been with the company for more than 10 years. We consider it as a privilege that you have set aside time to learn about how to measure embodied carbon in street furniture projects, which is essential to be able to specify products with low footprint. This way, we can all contribute to Australia's drive towards net zero. It may sound like a hard thing to undertake, but the good news is that Astra Street Furniture can help you by offering our carbon footprint tracker. Before we get to that, I'm sure that some of you may be asking yourself, who is Astra Street Furniture? So to introduce ourselves, Astra Street Furniture is a family-owned and operated Australian company based in Western Sydney, close to the M7 motorway. We are part of the Area Safe Group, which was established in 2003 as a high-strength bollard manufacturer, supplying compliant safety fixtures to the industrial market, facilities management industry, and construction projects ever since. The Astra Street Furniture brand was rolled out in 2018 following a successful 10 years with our AS Urban brand, which is now retired. Astra supplies a spectrum of projects including open spaces and streetscapes for local councils, other public realm projects, schools, colleges and universities, shopping malls, aged care and hospitals with DDA compliant street furniture that is designed and made in Australia. We are about to dig in and unpack our Astra Carbon Footprint Tracker, which has been designed to help architects to calculate the carbon footprint of their projects. Along with this, we also support architects with accredited online and in-person formal CPD courses on relevant subjects pertaining to street furniture and car park compliance. Astra provides a complete range of street furniture, including shelters of various designs and sizes, 15 different design suites of seats and benches, commercial picnic settings including wheelchair access, grandstands in a range of sizes and either open or covered, recycling bins and wheelie bin enclosures, drinking fountains and refill stations, planter boxes in different shapes and sizes, bike parking options and architectural bollards. So enough about Astra for now. Let's move on to a very topical and critical issue, net zero. So what is net zero? Put simply, net zero means cutting carbon emissions to a small amount of residual emissions that can be absorbed and durably stored or sequestered by nature and other carbon dioxide removal measures, leaving zero in the atmosphere. The exciting news is that current climate models predict that global warming will cease once we achieve net zero. Australia's net zero plan will guide our transition to the legislated target of net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. The legislated 2030 target, which is only 5.5 years away, is 43% below the 2005 levels. Between 2005 and 2021, Australia's emissions fell by approximately 21%, outpacing the reductions of every other commodity export nation in the world. Part of the overall net zero plan is the Built Environment Plan, which covers residential and commercial buildings. And something that is not well known is that the plan also covers urban open spaces and water infrastructure. The Green Building Council of Australia roadmap recommends that architects and builders utilise low energy intensive or net zero products and services. A survey of AIA members in 2022 found that 3 out of 4 respondents, or 72%, said that transitioning to a net zero emissions future was absolutely critical. So Astra Street Furniture has developed a truly unparalleled sustainability program that sets us apart from all other street furniture manufacturers. The Astra Carbon Footprint Tracker is designed to help you compare the green credentials of each product and calculate the carbon score of your overall project. This groundbreaking system encompasses 6 distinct pillars of sustainability that have been carefully applied to every individual product in our range. These 6 aspects are as shown on this slide, and each distinct symbol displayed on our website for every product. Just to bounce through them quickly, the first symbol is Australian made, then recycled content, thirdly life cycle expectancy, the fourth is repurposing, then carbon star ranking, and last but most importantly, the carbon content score. Through working closely with landscape architects and by research into industry obligations, our environmental specialist team have designed and formulated this system to help bring about awareness of our ecological impact and how it can be minimised or offset. It's designed to help make life easier, especially for architects, councils and others involved in planning out projects in the public realm. These 6 symbols will help you to calculate the carbon footprint of outdoor furniture that you specify. So next we'll look at a product example to show how these symbols are displayed on our website and then unpack each of these 6 symbols individually. On our website for Astra Street Furniture, this is a product example showing the Paris setting with low back benches and how the Astra Carbon Footprint Tracker is displayed. The 6 symbols are shown in the bottom right-hand corner. If you can't see the carbon content score, make sure you have signed in with your website account details. We will talk again later about the homepage and how to create an online account for full access to all architectural resources, including carbon content, 3D drawing downloads, spec sheets, and installation guides. Now we'll touch on each of the 6 symbols and explain them all individually. Firstly, the Australian made symbol is your guarantee that this product is designed and manufactured locally, which in turn reduces carbon, reduces greenhouse emissions by eliminating the need to ship goods from overseas, thus significantly reducing the amount of energy and carbon emissions in transportation. Just in freight alone, for one regular 20-foot shipping container, there are 30 times more carbon emissions to import from China compared to what is generated by local freight. Australian made also has the advantage of increasing accountability and reducing lead times. Typical lead times for imported products is 10 to 16 weeks. Most Australian made products have a lead time of 6 to 8 weeks. Our lead time promise is less than 1 week, with most orders being dispatched in 1 to 3 days. Unique to Astra Street Furniture, we bulk manufacture all components for stock and therefore can dispatch all products within 1 week. It's an interesting statistic that more than 93% of Australians prefer Australian made. The second symbol is for recycled content and displays a number between 0 and 100 in the centre, which is the percentage of recycled content. Different component materials within each product have a different recycled content percentage. This symbol is to show the total recycled content as a percentage of the complete product by weight. This percentage value is a true average across the total product mass, which means that it is a conservative average due to being calculated according to the ratio of all materials in the total product mass. If you're looking for a product with high recycled content, then the higher the percentage points, the better. Next, we'll look at an example of an outdoor seat to demonstrate how recycled content is calculated. To calculate the recycled content for each product, every different component material is looked at separately and the weight ratio is combined to establish the total recycled content. For example, if we look at the Astra Barcelona seat with EnviroSlat, this product weighs a total of 72 kilograms and has the following recycled content calculation. The frame is manufactured from heavy gauge zinc-plated steel, which has approximately 25% recycled content. At 18 kilograms, the frame component is 25% of total mass. Therefore, the recycled content ratio of this component is approximately 6% of the total product. There are 10 slats on the Barcelona seat, each weighing approximately 5.4 kilograms, making a combined total of 54 kilograms. EnviroSlat has up to 35% recycled plastic component, which is the data that we use for our calculations. Although if you classify the additional 55% of reclaimed cellulose fibre as recycled waste, this would actually bump up the EnviroSlat recycled content to a whopping 90%. So working with the conservative recycled value of 35% and the EnviroSlat components weighing 54 kilograms, which is 75% of the total mass of the seat, therefore the recycled content ratio of this component is 26% of the total product. Adding these two material ratios together, the combined total recycled content for this Barcelona seat is approximately 32%. The third symbol is a single circular arrow with a year range displayed in the centre, depicting the life expectancy of the product. This is a very conservative indication of the minimum expected life of the product. Several factors influence the life cycle expectancy of street furniture. These include the quality and durability of materials, adherence to industry standard manufacturing processes, proper maintenance, and the product's capacity to withstand harsh weather conditions and resist corrosion, fading, and other forms of deterioration. The longer a product is expected to last, the less material waste and carbon emissions there will be, because replacement products don't need to be manufactured as often. The life cycle expectancy demonstrated in the Astra Carbon Footprint Tracker is grouped into three categories to help simplify this comparison: 25 plus years, 11 to 24 years, and 6 to 10 years. 25 plus years typically covers materials like stainless steel and aluminium products. 11 to 24 years typically covers our steel frame products and recycled composite slats. 6 to 10 years typically covers our steel products with hardwood slats. Once again, these typical values are conservative considering the high quality materials and high standards of manufacturing. For example, all our steel substrates are triple protected with zinc plating, zinc primer, and premium Dulux powder coating, which has 10 to 25 years warranty, depending on the substrate. The life of a product, especially if timber slats are involved, also depends on how well it is maintained. It's good to keep in mind that there are street furniture items that have been out there for more than 50 years. Further to the explanation of life cycle expectancy, this slide demonstrates an example of a London picnic setting and how the materials directly influence life cycle expectancy. With the London wheelchair accessible setting displayed here, this is manufactured with a marine grade cast aluminium frame and wood grain powder coated aluminium slats. The life cycle expectancy for these materials is 25 plus years. The fourth symbol shows twin circular arrows with the abbreviation RE in the centre, and this stands for repurposing. This is an indication of whether there is a known alternative use for the product at the end of its design use life. If RE is displayed in the centre of the arrow, this means that end-of-life repurposing is expected to be possible, either as a complete product or broken down into parts. If a product can be repurposed, once again there will be less carbon emissions because replacement products don't need to be manufactured as often. As we mentioned, repurposing allows an existing product or its materials to find a new use, extend its life, and helps to cut down on waste. Diverting waste away from landfill reduces emissions and reduces the need for manufacturing new products. So how is it established whether a product can be repurposed or not? Whether a product can be repurposed or not has been worked out by extensive research into whether there is an alternative use for either the whole product or for the product components. Now I'll provide a few examples of how products can be repurposed. But remember, repurposing ideas are only limited to your imagination. Hardwood slats from seats, benches, tables and bins can be given a new lease of life as garden screens, pet enclosures, fence pickets or decking. A fresh coat of paint can make them suitable for reuse in another area of your facility. Aluminium slats can find a second life in school projects, sunscreens, compost bins, or even as art in the form of sculptures. Similar to both wooden and aluminium slats, recycled EnviroSlat can also be repurposed for other uses such as garden screens, fence pickets, vegetable stakes, landscaping pegs, or can be painted for a fresh look. Perhaps in the future, this material could potentially be granulated for use in road base. Planter boxes and bin casings can be converted into storage bins, compost bins or community garden boxes. In fact, one of our innovative customers repurposed their bin casing into a swimming pool towel storage unit. The fifth symbol is a double leaf with 5 blue stars, and this is your quick reference tool, helping to compare one product to another using the star rating. This is called the carbon star ranking. 5 stars indicates the best rating with the least carbon content. If you want to include a particular product in your project, but it has a low star rating, you can use this star rating to balance it out with a higher rated product to achieve a net zero outcome. So how do we calculate the carbon star ranking at Astra Street Furniture? Our team analyses each product's embodied carbon or carbon content, measured in kilograms of CO2 equivalent per kilogram of product mass. Based on the carbon content that has been calculated for every product, this is then grouped into carbon range categories that form the carbon star rankings. The highest ranking, which is 5 stars as shown here for the Venice drinking and refill station, means that the product falls into the category of the least embodied carbon, which is less than 200 kilograms equivalent of CO2 per product. The next group ranking of 4 stars is 200 to 399 kilograms, and 3 stars is 400 plus kilograms of embodied carbon. Once again, look for the 5-star ranking to select a product with the least carbon content. The 6th and final symbol also has a double leaf profile and shows the carbon content score. The number displayed on this symbol shows a tangible measurement for embodied carbon in kilograms for the selected product. If the product has a carbon content score of 100, this means the product has approximately 100 kilograms of embodied carbon. The carbon score for each piece of furniture helps calculate the carbon footprint of a whole project. The measurement is estimated as accurately as possible from available data and is intended as a general guide. Looking at the carbon content score symbol, you may be asking yourself, how is this value calculated and why is it such an important number? The carbon content of a product is the combined total of the individual carbon score of each material type in a product assembly. For example, If a product like the wheelie bin enclosure shown here has been selected, with a stainless steel covered top, a steel base frame, and wood grain aluminium slats, then the different carbon content for each material is calculated by weight and added together. The calculated carbon content for an Astra Athens bin enclosure with these specifications is 290 kilograms when the carbon for each material is added together. So the total combined content of all components is the carbon score for the product. Being Australian made, Astra Street Furniture has unique control over where we source raw materials. This means that we can minimise carbon content through careful research and selection. As an example, aluminium is traditionally seen as a high carbon emissions material due to the energy required for production. Working with manufacturers including Caprel, we have designed our own extrusion dies and sourced low carbon aluminium produced from hydroelectric powered smelters. So this brings us to how to use the Astra Carbon Footprint Tracker. The Astra Carbon Footprint Tracker is quite simple to use, especially with the tools available for architects. Firstly, the website summary with the 6 symbols of sustainability is your everyday go-to for product comparisons, especially if you are looking for the lowest carbon option in a particular style, or whether you are looking for a product with high recycled content. Please bear in mind that Astra releases new products every 6 months, and therefore if the carbon footprint scores are not yet visible for a particular product, please be free to ask. You can use the online chat or the Contact Us email form to request the missing information. In addition to the online data displayed, you may not be aware that we also make available to architects an Excel spreadsheet with the carbon score for every individual product code. If needed, a spreadsheet is also available for recycled content for every product. The carbon spreadsheet is readily available on request and supplied as commercial in confidence to be used for Astra products only. Always make sure that your copy is no more than 6 months old so that all new products are included. The next step is for you to evaluate each product and select the best option for the project to minimise the carbon footprint. Then to work out the carbon footprint of the whole project, simply add together the carbon score for every product and material, including hardscapes and softscapes, and then offset any excess positive carbon footprint as required. Finally, you can feel good knowing that you have made a calculated contribution towards net zero. As mentioned on the previous slide, Astra can supply architects with an Excel spreadsheet with the specific estimated carbon content for every individual product. One of the recent recipients of this information was Toby McCarney of Tract Consultants. Thank you, Toby, for allowing us to mention you as a case study. According to Toby, he said that estimates show that the embodied carbon of street furniture can equate to 2 to 10% of a landscape project's emissions, depending on the scale of the project. This means that materials such as concrete and asphalt are more in focus than street furniture to reduce emissions although every component is a contributor. Toby says that looking at our current embodied carbon material database, Astra products look to be equal to or less than what we've estimated for standard products. For example, your picnic settings produce 100 kilograms less CO2 compared to our estimate for a standard picnic setting. Your bin enclosures produce 70 kilograms less CO2, and your benches produce roughly the same for what we estimated for a standard bench. He says that estimates are acknowledged as not 100% accurate, although this data reflects the fact that Astra sources their aluminium from producers that use hydro-powered green energy smelters, which significantly reduces the energy used in manufacture compared to regular aluminium. The question is often asked as to how aluminium compares to recycled EnviroSlat for both carbon and recycled content. It's an interesting comparison because both materials are typically high in energy consumption required in manufacturing. Our aluminium slats, sourced with hydroelectric production, have approximately 30% less carbon content than aluminium made with coal-fired power. EnviroSlat material has approximately 10% more carbon content than our aluminium slats. Then, from a circular economy perspective, extruded aluminium has only 8% recycled content, compared to EnviroSlat having 35% recycled plastic and 55% reclaimed cellulose fibre. It's important to note that while the recycled content of EnviroSlat is high, this high carbon material cannot be recycled after use, whereas aluminium is 100% recyclable. Now we're going to display a web page example to demonstrate the Astra Carbon Footprint Tracker. This slide shows the Astra Street Furniture home page. To help you navigate the website, I will quickly point out some key features. Firstly, you will see the client login buttons in the top right corner where you can create an account to access all resources. In the centre of the page is a drop-down list of resources for architects. This includes a booking form to enrol in formal CPD presentations, either online or in person. These CPDs have been reviewed by Archify and approved to comply with the requirements of formal CPD for delivery to registered architects in Australia. In the Products tab in the top left, you can go directly to the type of product you are looking for to review all design options and carbon footprint. Category shortcuts are seen here in the centre bottom of the screen. So that brings us to an end to our presentation, and now we have time to cover any questions that have been kindly put forward.